Hello, dear friends. If you're anything like me over 60, a little wiser, and a whole lot more selective about what goes into your body, then you already know this truth. As we age, our bodies whisper more often. And sometimes when we don't listen, they start to shout. For some of us, it's the sluggish digestion. For others, it's the stubborn weight gain, the hot flashes, or those little red flare-ups on the skin, what we used to call heat boils, and doctors now label with longer names. But beneath all those symptoms lies one common root: toxic heat, inflammation, and a liver that's working a little too hard. You see, our bodies were never designed to handle this much stress-processed food and environmental toxins, not for this long. That's why so many older adults start facing chronic inflammation, internal heat, and skin issues, even if they eat healthy. But here's the good news: nature didn't forget about us. In today's video, I'm going to share with you an ancient folk recipe passed down from both East and West, a combination of 3 humble, powerful ingredients that have stood the test of time. Wildfish mint, also known as rau diep ca in Vietnamese, green tea leaves, and a bit of fresh ginger. Now I know what you might be thinking, herbs again. I've tried so many remedies already. I hear you, and I've been there. But what makes this blend different is not just the ingredients, but how they work together to cool the liver, calm the blood, purify the gut, and soothe those fiery skin reactions that make us feel older than we are. I've personally used this recipe for the past 12 years, and I can honestly say it's one of the most gentle, effective, and comforting habits I've ever added to my routine. And no, it doesn't taste like medicine. It tastes like care. So whether you're trying to clear up your skin, cool your body down, or just feel a little lighter on your feet, this is for you. Before we dive into the science and the step-by-step preparation, do me a small favor. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more weekly videos on natural healing, healthy aging, and rediscovering the wisdom our grandparents never forgot. And if you find today's recipe helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love. Because growing older doesn't mean growing weaker, it means growing wiser. Let's get started. Let me tell you something I wish I had known earlier in life. For decades, I walked through grocery stores, past herb gardens, even through the backyards of friends, not realizing that one of the most powerful remedies for inflammation and skin trouble was growing right there in the ground quietly, without asking for attention. It's called Houtuinia cordata, but most people in Asia simply call it rau diep ca. And let me tell you, this little leaf is not just another folk remedy. It is a warrior, a quiet one, but powerful. When I first came across rau diep ca, I was skeptical. It's not something you'd find in American kitchens. The smell is strong, earthy, a little fishy, maybe even unpleasant at first. I'll be honest, it took me a while to appreciate it. But then I looked deeper. I read, I asked, I listened. And here's what I found. Rau diep ca is what Eastern medicine practitioners call a cooling herb. It helps reduce internal heat, especially the kind that builds up in the liver and digestive system. This excess heat, when not expelled properly, can lead to skin breakouts, boils, sluggish metabolism, even insomnia and irritability. And the science, it backs this up. Modern research has shown that rau diep ca contains flavonoids, quercetin, and decanoyl acetaldehyde, natural compounds with anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antioxidant properties. Let's break that down. Flavonoids are plant chemicals that help fight oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress like rust on the inside of your body. These compounds are like internal cleansers, sweeping out the damage caused by poor diet, pollution, and stress. Quercetin is a powerful anti-inflammatory. In fact, it's used in some natural allergy supplements because it calms histamine reactions. On the skin, that means less redness, less itching, and fewer angry flare-ups. And decanoyl acetaldehyde, that's the big one. This is the active compound responsible for the antimicrobial effects. It helps to kill off the bad bacteria in the gut and on the skin, often the root cause of acne, boils, and digestive imbalances. But what I love most about rau diep ca is how gentle it is. It doesn't shock your system. It doesn't strip your body. It works with your body, cooling what's overheated, balancing what's out of rhythm, flushing out what no longer serves you. And for those of us over 60, that matters. Because our bodies don't respond well to harsh interventions anymore. We need support, not punishment. We need to restore, not suppress. Rau diep ca offers that kind of restoration. Now, how do you use it? In Vietnam and other parts of Asia, it's often blended with other herbs or made into a cold tea. but I recommend starting slow. A few leaves wash thoroughly steeped in warm water for about 10 minutes. You can also blend it with green tea and ginger, as we'll talk about later. Some folks even juice it fresh with a bit of lemon. It's strong, but it's effective. What's important here is consistency. Like any herbal remedy, Raudiep is not a magic bullet. It's not a drug, it's a relationship. You use it gently daily over time and your body begins to change. Your digestion feels lighter. Your skin looks clearer. You sleep deeper. And more than that, you feel like you're being taken care of by nature. Because that's what Raudiep really is. It's a reminder that healing doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be intentional. And friends, after 60, intention is everything. So before you reach for another over-the-counter cream or digestion pill, ask yourself, what if what I really need is a leaf? Up next, we'll talk about another humble hero, green tea, and how it works hand-in-hand with Raudiep to clean, calm, and energize your body from the inside out. But first, if this resonated with you, if it reminded you of something your mother or grandmother once told you, I want you to do two things. Click subscribe and share this with someone who still believes in natural healing. Let's keep the wisdom flowing. Let's move from the earthy boldness of Raudiep to something far more familiar in Western culture, green tea. Green tea. Now, if you're like me, you've probably had a cup or two over the years. Maybe to wake you up gently, maybe to wind down in the afternoon, or perhaps just because you heard it was good for you. But here's something that surprised even me. Green tea isn't just good, it's deeply medicinal. Especially when it comes to detoxifying the liver, calming inflammation, and reviving the skin things that matter more and more after 60. Let's start with the liver. After decades of living, yes, even clean living, our liver gets tired. It's been filtering toxins, breaking down fat, processing sugar, and trying to stay balanced in a world that often is not. By the time you hit your 60s, your liver is like a long-serving soldier. Reliable, yes, but battle-worn. That's where green tea steps in as reinforcement. Inside those delicate leaves are compounds called catechins, and the most famous one is EGCG, epigallocatechin galate. If that sounds like a mouthful, just know this EGCG is a powerhouse. It's been shown in study after study to reduce inflammation in the liver, help regulate liver enzymes, and even protect liver cells from oxidative damage. Think of it as a shield, natural armor for one of your body's most overworked organs. And what happens when your liver is functioning better? You guessed it, your skin shows it. There's a saying in traditional medicine, a clear liver gives a clear face. Why? Because the liver filters out toxins. When it's overburdened, those toxins don't just disappear, they often get pushed out through your skin. That means rashes, dullness, uneven tone, and yes, those frustrating flare-ups we call adult acne or rosacea. Green tea helps the body detoxify more efficiently, meaning less pressure on the skin to do that job. As a result, over time, you may start to notice that your skin tone evens out, your cheeks brighten, and that dull, tired look begins to fade. Now let's talk about oxidation. You've probably heard the term free radicals. They're like little sparks that fly off the fire of metabolism, stress, pollution, and poor diet. Too many sparks, things burn. Inflammation, aging, even chronic disease. Green tea's antioxidants, particularly those catechins, are like water to those sparks. They neutralize the damage. They cool the fire. They restore balance. But, and this is important, not all green tea is created equal. The kind you get in mass-produced tea bags at the grocery store. It's fine, but it's not the same. If you really want to experience the healing benefits, go for loose-leaf organic green tea. And steep it properly, not too hot, not too long. Around 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Let it steep for 2 to 3 minutes and never boil the leaves. And one more thing, green tea doesn't just heal, it awakens. There's a gentle kind of caffeine in green tea called L-theanine. It stimulates your brain, but without the jitters of coffee. It helps you focus, stay calm, and feel alert. And for those of us in our 60s and 70s, that mental clarity can feel like a breath of fresh air. Now when you combine green tea with Raudiep, you're not just cooling the body, you're cleansing, energizing, and rejuvenating it. It's like giving your liver a soft hug and your skin a long overdue vacation. And here's the best part. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need prescriptions. You just need a pot of hot water, a few leaves, and a few moments of intention. Because healing, real healing, starts with small, consistent, loving acts. So I want you to try this. Make yourself a cup tomorrow morning. No phone, no distraction. Just you, the tea, and your breath. And notice what your body tells you, because it will speak gently, clearly, and with thanks. Coming up next, we'll explore one of my favorite roots, ginger. This spicy little miracle doesn't just warm the body. It activates everything you've just learned, making green tea and rau diep ka work even better. But before we go, take a moment. If this resonated with you, if it stirred a memory or sparked a new idea, click subscribe, leave a comment below, and share it with someone who believes in natural wisdom like you do. Let's keep walking this path of healing one beautiful step at a time. Now that we've explored the cooling, cleansing powers of rau diep ka and the antioxidant strength of green tea, it's time to introduce the third player in this healing trio. And believe me when I say this one's a fire starter. Ginger. You know it. You've smelled it in cookies, sipped it in teas, maybe even chewed on it when your stomach felt off. But what you may not know is that ginger is one of nature's oldest and most intelligent healers. Thousands of years ago, long before lab coats and blood tests, healers across cultures from China to India to the American South used ginger as a frontline remedy. It wasn't a backup plan, it was the plan. And here's why. Ginger gets things moving. When your blood is sluggish, your digestion slows your immune system. Quiet ginger steps in like a kind but firm coach and says, "Let's wake up." It stimulates circulation, which means more oxygen to your cells. It warms the gut, which means better absorption of nutrients. And it reduces inflammation, which means less pain, less swelling, and less wear and tear on the body. For those of us over 60, that's not just helpful, it's essential. Our circulation doesn't flow like it used to. Our digestion isn't as quick. And chronic low-grade inflammation, it's often lurking silently, showing up in the form of joint stiffness, fatigue, and skin flare-ups. Ginger cuts through that fog. It contains powerful bioactive compounds like gingerol and shogail, natural anti-inflammatories that have been shown to reduce everything from muscle pain to gut irritation. And when taken consistently in small amounts, ginger can support detoxification pathways in the liver, stimulate bile production, and even support immune function. But here's where it gets really interesting. When you combine ginger with other herbs, it amplifies their effects. Think of ginger like a match to a candle. Rau diep ka is the cool cleanse. Green tea is the antioxidant strength. Ginger is the ignition switch that makes them work faster, deeper, and more holistically. In traditional herbalism, we call this a synergist. Ginger doesn't just bring its own benefits. It helps the entire formula reach deeper into the body. Let me give you a simple image. Imagine your liver as a sponge soaked with toxins after years of modern living. Rau diep ka gently wrings it out. Green tea washes it clean. But ginger opens the faucet. It improves the flow of blood bile energy. It brings warmth to the coolness of the other herbs, creating balance, and in healing, balance is everything. Now, how do you use ginger in this formula? There are many ways, but I recommend this simple approach. Slice 3 to 5 thin pieces of fresh ginger root. Never powdered, fresh is always better. Add it to your teapot along with your green tea and rau diep ka. Let them steep together for 10 to 15 minutes. Strain and sip warm. You'll feel it, the warmth in your belly, the slight tingle on your tongue, the clarity in your head. That's circulation. That's your body saying thank you. Now a gentle reminder, ginger is potent. If you have a sensitive stomach or take blood-thinning medication, always start with less and listen to your body. Healing is a dialogue, not a command. And friends, there's one more reason I love ginger. It reminds me that spice is not the enemy of age. Too often we're told to quiet down, to avoid strong things as we get older. But sometimes the body doesn't need soft. It needs spark. It needs heat. It needs to remember its own fire. Ginger gives us that fire safely, naturally, beautifully. In the next part, we're going to bring it all together. The why, the how, and the when. Because knowing these ingredients is only half the story. The magic happens in the combination, the timing, the habit. But before we continue, if this spoke to you, if your body nodded along while you listened, leave a comment below. Tell me, do you already use ginger? In what way has it helped you? And if this is your first step into herbal healing, I'm proud of you. Let's keep going gently, wisely together. Now that we've met each of these 3 powerful herbs on their own, it's time to see what happens when we bring them together. Because the truth is, their real magic doesn't lie in isolation. It lies in synergy. You see, in traditional herbal medicine, healing isn't about hitting one symptom with one plant. It's about understanding how ingredients support each other, balance each other, and activate each other's strengths while softening their weaknesses. And that's exactly what happens with Wildfish Mint Rowdeepka green tea and ginger. Let's break it down. Rowdeepka cools, the body reduces inflammation and gently detoxifies the liver and digestive tract. Green tea enhances antioxidant defenses, supports liver function, and protects cells from damage. Ginger improves circulation, boosts digestion, and acts as a catalyst, speeding up absorption and effect. When you combine them, you create what herbalists call a triad tonic. One herb detoxifies, one protects, and one activates. So instead of just cleaning or just calming or just warming, you're doing all three at once. You're telling your body, I'm not just putting out the fire, I'm rebuilding the house. Now let's talk about how to make it. Simple herbal detox. Tea, my personal recipe. Ingredients for one person. 8 to 10 fresh Rowdeepka leaves or one small handful if wild. 1 teaspoon loose leaf green tea, preferably organic. 3 to 5 thin slices of fresh ginger root. 2 to 3 cups of filtered water. Instructions. Wash the Rowdeepka thoroughly. In a small saucepan, bring water to a gentle simmer, not a boil. Add the ginger slices first. Let them simmer alone for 3–5 minutes to release their essential oils. Turn off the heat. Add the Rowdeepka and green tea. Cover with a lid. Let it steep for 8–10 minutes. Strain into a cup and sip while still warm. It's important to not boil the green tea or Rowdeepka, as high heat can destroy some of their most delicate healing compounds. Now about the best time to drink it. I recommend drinking this in the morning about 30 minutes after waking up. That's when your liver is still finishing its detox cycle from the night before, and your digestion is ready for gentle activation. You can also enjoy a second cup in the late afternoon around 3 or 4 p.m., especially if you tend to feel sluggish or overheated during that time. But avoid drinking it too close to bedtime. Ginger and green tea can be a bit energizing. Here's what you can expect if you make this a daily habit. Within a few days, you may notice lighter digestion, fewer bloated or heavy feelings after meals. After 1 to 2 weeks, skin clarity may begin to improve, especially if you're prone to heat-based breakouts. After 3 to 4 weeks, a more balanced energy rhythm, less afternoon fatigue, clearer thinking, and improved elimination. Long-term strengthened immune response, reduced chronic inflammation, and a sense of gentle internal balance you didn't even realize you were missing. But remember, this isn't a quick fix. This is slow medicine. This is the kind of healing that respects time, that partners with your body rather than trying to dominate it. And that's what makes it sustainable. That's what makes it wise. We live in a culture that pushes pills for every problem. But the truth is, many of our answers lie in the kitchen, not the pharmacy. In warm water, simple leaves, and a little ginger root. Before we move to the final reflections, I want to gently encourage you. Try it for 7 days, just 7 days. Treat it as an act of self-care, not a chore, and see how your body responds. Because when you give your body the right tools, the right environment, and a little bit of patience, it always knows what to do. Coming up next, we'll hear stories from real people who've used this blend, and I'll share a few final thoughts on how to stay consistent without overthinking it. But before that, if this guide has been helpful to you, if it's planted a seed of curiosity or hope, do me one kind favor. Click subscribe and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from and what you're hoping to heal. Your story matters, and it may inspire someone else to begin their own journey too. Let's continue walking gently with wisdom into what's next. Let me take a moment now to tell you the part that doesn't always make it into the pretty headlines and polished health blogs. Even natural healing takes discernment. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's harmless for everyone. And just because it's gentle doesn't mean it works instantly. Over the past several years, I've shared this herbal blend with many friends, neighbors, and even fellow veterans in my wellness group. Some of them were in their 70s, a few in their 80s, people with real health histories, some on medications, some recovering from illness, some just tired of being tired. And here's what I heard back. Let's start with the positive stories because they're worth celebrating. Helen, age 74, who'd been struggling with mild rosacea and digestive issues, told me after 3 weeks of sipping this blend daily, her skin felt calmer and less reactive. She didn't expect much, but she stayed consistent. And she noticed not only less redness on her cheeks, but also a gentler appetite and fewer sugar cravings. George, 67, said he hadn't had a regular morning in years. After just 1 week, he was going to the bathroom on schedule again and feeling lighter, less bloated, and even sleeping better. Mary, 81, used to wake up at night with hot flashes and night sweats. Adding this drink in the early afternoon helped her regulate body temperature in the evenings. Not gone completely, but manageable. And that matters. But I also want to be honest with you. Some people didn't feel much at first, and a few had reactions they weren't expecting, not dangerous, but inconvenient. Let's talk about that. Common mistakes and misunderstandings. 1. Drinking it too strong too soon. One gentleman, bless him, decided to double everything on the first day. Twice the ginger, twice the tea, and he steeped it for almost half an hour. The result, he didn't feel better. He felt restless, sweaty, and gassy. More is not better. In herbal medicine, balance is better. Start with gentle proportions and build slowly, letting your body adjust. 2. Drinking it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. While this works well for some people, others, especially those with sensitive digestion or gastritis, found that it made them feel queasy. In that case, take it 20–30 minutes after a light breakfast, not on a completely empty stomach. 3. Using dried or low-quality ingredients. Tea bags from a dusty box won't give you the same power as fresh ginger loose-leaf green tea and clean organic rosacea. The fresher your ingredients, the more vibrant your result. 4. Expecting a miracle overnight. I've seen some folks give up after 2 or 3 days saying it didn't do anything for me. But this isn't aspirin. It's not a bandage. It's a long game. Like all good habits, it needs time and patience. Just like exercise, just like sleep hygiene, just like forgiveness, it works best when practiced consistently. Special considerations. Especially if you're on medication. If you're taking blood thinners, ginger can increase their effect. That doesn't mean you have to avoid it completely, but talk to your doctor before adding this into your daily routine. If you have low blood pressure, this blend may lower it further. Again, monitor your body, check your numbers, and adjust accordingly. And if you have a history of kidney issues, avoid drinking too concentrated green tea regularly. It can overstimulate filtration. How to make it sustainable? Now, I always tell people this. Don't treat it like a punishment. Don't turn it into one more thing on your checklist. Turn it into a ritual. Use your favorite cup. Brew slowly. Breathe deeply while it steeps. Sit down when you drink it. No phone, no rush. Let your body know this is a gift, not just a task. Because healing doesn't only happen in what you drink, it happens in how you drink it, in the respect you show your body, in the space you give yourself to rest and receive. And that, my friend, is what I wish I'd learned earlier. In the next part, we'll wrap things up with a gentle reflection, and I'll leave you with one simple question to carry into your day. But before we go, tell me in the comments, have you ever tried combining these 3 herbs? What worked? What didn't? Let's learn from each other, because growing wiser is always better when done together. So here we are. We've walked through the cooling, cleansing leaf of rosacea. We've sipped the gentle strength of green tea. And we've felt the fire of ginger awakening everything within. 3 simple ingredients. 3 ancient allies. 1 quiet revolution for your health. Not in pills, not in complicated regimens, but in warm water, a little time, and a daily decision to honor the body that's carried you this far. Because let's be honest, you've earned that care. You've spent years caring for others. You've given so much of yourself through work, through family, through life's storms and sunshine alike. Now it's time to give something back to yourself. Something pure, something simple, something healing. This herbal blend isn't just about fighting inflammation, clearing skin, or supporting the liver. It's about returning to rhythm, to a way of living that listens rather than pushes, that honors the body's whispers before they become shouts. If you've made it this far into the video, then I know one thing about you. You're ready. Ready to step into a gentler way of caring for yourself. Ready to say yes to slow healing, quiet mornings, and the wisdom of nature. And here's my invitation. Try it. 7 days, 1 cup a day. Not for the outcome, but for the experience. Not to fix yourself, but to connect with yourself. And then come back. Tell me, what did your body say? What changed? What surprised you? Because I don't just want to talk at you, I want to walk with you. This channel isn't about perfection, it's about practice and presence and paying attention. If this video brought you value, share it with a friend who's on a similar path. Click like if it resonated. Subscribe if you want more gentle, grounded wellness wisdom like this every week. And as always, I leave you with one simple question. What is your body asking for right now? And are you willing to listen? I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be kind to yourself. Be patient with your healing, and never forget your wellness journey is still unfolding beautifully one step at a time. Take care, dear friend.